guys, welcome back to the channel. So the first question was, what if I have many planets in the Marana Karaka Sthana? So what is that? Is the worst position of the planets in the chart. And here we are talking about the Vedic astrology. And what is the chart? It is the 12 houses. Each house is showing the area of life. And in this chart we have the 9 planets, which are the actors or the karma distributors. So our first contact with astrology is that I am some sign, like I'm Scorpio or I'm Aquarius, I'm Aries. But this is only the sun sign. They are more than sun. We have 9 objects. They are placed in 12 signs and also in the 12 houses. So this is getting us more detailed and more complex and more useful information about the karma which is related to our life. So each of us has some kind of map. We are not born randomly in these chaotic circumstances. Everything was pre-planned, predestined, and this is the map of our birth. This is the map of our karmas, what we can get easily in life, where we have to get some challenges, even some suffering, and how to solve our problems. This is per Jataka Parijata, the map which is helping us to overcome our hurdles in life. And why we are using Vedic astrology? First of all, the sidereal zodiac is much more accurate than tropical zodiac. Many people will not agree with that, especially from the Western schools. And then if the Vargas, based on the sidereal calculations of the zodiac, if they are working, then definitely the sidereal zodiac must be right. Then we know that the Vedic tradition is the holistic and traditional. We know that there is fragments of astrology in the Puranas, like for example of the Narada Purana. The Upanishads are saying that the Puranas is the Pancha Veda or the 5th Veda. So based on that we can call it Vedic astrology, because now the Purana being the Veda, this is coming also from the Veda. So having those Vargas, the 16 divisional charts, we can in a better way, in a more accurate way, when it comes to description and also timing, to say things related to a career life, which is the Dashamsa chart, individual additional chart, Saptamsha, which is the chart of children. We have Siddhamsha, academical chart about the bachelor's, master's degree, PhD. So all these questions can be answered with a D24. We have the Vimshamsa chart, which is our spiritual life. What is the best spiritual activity for us? What is the best sadhana? Is it the pranayam? Is it the mantra? Is it the guru? Is it the sangha? Is it the ashram? So based on the Lagna Lord in the Vimshamsa, we can answer such questions. And then of course the 5th point, which is making the Vedic astrology much more useful than other traditional school, is that contrary to the popular belief that Vedic astrology is deterministic, in the Vedic astrology we have the upaya, which are the remedies. So we are not left with the static viewpoint of our karmas, but we can change whatever challenging position we have in chart with the means of the karma, with the means of gems, which is the part of tantra. Also we can use a specific choices in life. We can get a very good tips what to do, with whom to associate, where to work, what to do in life. So we get also this, I call it this mechanistic tips, but also we are getting this metaphysical tips in the form of various remedies, be it mantra or tantra and so on. So in today's video we'll be talking about the affliction, about the terms, about the houses, results in the Rashi and in the Vargas, about the yogas of Marana Karaka Sthana, about some exceptions, about the remedy and about the examples. If you like the video so far and you feel it brings you some value, some knowledge, please click the thumbs up. It would help me with the algorithm to make my videos more visible on this platform, and subscribe if you like to get notified about videos like that coming up in the future. And you want to get those notifications because we are releasing the videos once or sometimes twice a week. Term Marana Karaka Sthana means the placement when the planet is dying. The Marana is the death, the Karaka is the signification, and the Sthana is the placement. So this is the placement in which the signification of the planets are dying. So this is the worst placement of the planet in the chart. So when we are talking about the afflictions, we have them categorized. One is based on the house, which is the Marana Karaka Sthana, Zero Digbala, Pachakadi, Sambandha, Gataka, and the Dushtana. We also have the affliction in the form of weakness when the planet is in the debilitated or inimical state in the Rasi or Navamsha. There is also affliction based on the degrees. This is is the Graha Yuddha, Sankranti, Sandhi and Gandanta, and also the Kopa or the Ashtangata, which is the combustion from the sun. And we have also the affliction based on the yoga, which is the curse, the Shapa. We have then the Dainya Parivartana and the Kartari Yoga, when the planet is between malefics. So what is the Shastric source for the planets in the Marana Karaka Sthana? This is the Jataka Parijata, and authored by Vaidyana Dikshita. And there is the chapter of Kala Chakra, and the shlokas are 34 till 36. Okay, so we are continuing at home. The battery went off in the woods. I was looking for that nice lake for some time. But anyway, we have to accept the karma. Now we are on the placement point, so we have to know that the position of the Marana Karaka Sthana. So these are the Sun in the 12th, Moon in the 8th, Mars in the 7th, Mercury in the 4th and 7th, Jupiter in the 3rd house, Venus in the 6th, Saturn in the 1st house, Rahu in the 9th house, and Ketu in the 4th house. The next point is about understanding the difference between the Rasi chart and the Varga charts. So in the Rasi chart, when we have this Marana Karaka Sthana, this is the greatest blessing in our life. It basically shows that we should be close to such people because they are giving us a lot of resources, a lot of energy and time. The interesting thing is that we can behave bad towards those people. And it's said that this person which is signified by the planets in the Marana Karaka Sthana, it is like staying between us and the God. And a good example is the Mars in the chart of Sri Ram. So we know that Mars was in the 7th house, so the Hanuman was giving everything. The Hanuman in the Ramayana, so there is the whole Sri Ram Leela, the story of the God of a sun avatar of Vishnu, the Sri Ramachandra, and he had the biggest bhakta, the Hanuman, and he is shown by the 5th Lord Mars, exalted, but in the Marana Karaka Sthana. So this Hanuman was really the life, giving the life, totally dedicated to Sri Ram. So this is an example how these people signified by the planets in the Marana Karaka Sthana, they are giving the whole energy to us. If the sun is there, these are the topmost people, so we can also be close to government or such situation in the consequence of that. Mars shows attendance, the Venus will show spouse, Rahu is the foreigners, Ketu is the sadhus, Saturn is the pets, eldest, rishis, the gotra, and the elder brother. So the blessings are when the person is alive. The problems may arise when that person signified by the Marana Karaka Sthana is no more present in our life. And we were taught that the main issues will be related to the house or sign loaded by the planet in the Marana Karaka Sthana. Displacements of these planets also are showing that the native may act against the Dharma, against some ethics. The Dharma is the religion, how we act. So there's Yama Niyama, our basically the rules of conduct, we could say, how we are behaving. So we can go against the law or the ethics in a part related to those themes related by this Graha. So just like we have the bad position of the planets, there are also the good position of the planets. So this is like the best Karaka Sthana. These are the placements of the planets which have the biggest blessings. There is also the way to understand Marana Karaka Sthana to judge the position of the planet from the 9th house. This will show what we have done in the 9th house, so we get these blessings or a problem in the chart. We also know that when Sattva Grahas are in Marana Karaka Sthana in the Vargas, then this is especially problematic, especially in the Navamsha and especially the Sun and the Moon. We also know that the Rajasi Graha in Marana Karaka Sthana can be good in spiritual charts, not so good for the financial chart. Tamasic planet in the Marana Karaka Sthana can show that the tamas is going down, but these planets can also trouble us more because of that. There is also the way to judge Marana Karaka Sthana from the Atma Karaka. We are doing that together with the set of position called also Pachakadi Sambandha. So these are also some houses for each planet, and this will basically show what kind of experience the Atma, which is us, our soul, is having access to, or there is no access or delayed access. Also important thing when we talk about the yogas related to Marana Karaka Sthana is that for Taurus and Sagittarius, because Moon will be in own sign, will be exalted, we can take the 3rd house as the Marana Karaka Sthana for these ascendants. A very important point, if the Marana Karaka Sthana planet is joining another planet, then this state, this avasta of Marana Karaka Sthana is transformed to the other planet. We will see that also in one example. Now, if we are going to the many planets, so the original question, Sanjay G is giving us the Prabhakaram general example. He had the 11th Lord, 6th Lord and 4th Lord in the Marana Karaka Sthana. So many people died in his surrounding. He was the general, so it was the 6th lord, which was including his enemies. Also the 4th lord was there, so this is unfortunate for him. This may show the family. So on one hand, this Marana Karaka Sthana, as we said, this is the blessing. This is showing that when the people are alive, they are giving us a lot. They are between the death and us, so they are protecting us. But this can also show some kind of affliction. This may show planets which are dying. This may show, and especially these houses loaded by these planets, they may have some challenges. So if there are many planets in Marana Karaka Sthana, this may give those, we could say it, black holes. It also depends how these planets are remedied, because we know if the Karaka of the house in which the planet is in the Marana Karaka Sthana is in the Trikona to Lagna or Sun, this is like these planets will get some help. Also if the planet is exalted or in own sign. So now we are going to the remedy. If the planet is in own sign, we say that this is the Tattva Devata, so it's not really a planet working, but the planet has risen to the level of Tattva Devata. Tattva Devata is like, now it's like personalized deity. Now it's working like a Tattva. It's not only substance, but it's the whole primary element, like earth or air or water and so on. So we say that it has risen above the Bhuvaloka. So now it is also risen above the problem. So therefore these planets don't suffer really the Marana Karaka Sthana, or even if they suffer for some time, they can get out from this predicament. Also, when the Jupiter is aspecting the Sun and Moon in such position, then it's also giving this Jiva Shakti, I assume, which is helping the Sun and Moon in these problematic positions. And also, as we said, the Karaka of the house in which the Marana Karaka Sthana is there, if it's in Trikona to the Lagna or the Sun, this is also helping the planets to get out. So one may have many planets in the Marana Karaka Sthana, but they may all be either strong or the Karaka is well placed. So the whole situation may not be so challenging as it seems. So now we are going to the remedy. So the main remedy is the Pratyadi Devata of the Bhava Karaka, so the significator of the house. If, for example, we have a planet in Mercury in the 7th house, then we know that the Karaka of the 7th is Venus. So for Venus we can give Lakshmi and so on. If the moon is in 8, then this is the Saturn, so we can give the Narayana, especially the Om Namo Narayanaya would be the perfect mantra for the moon in the 8th house. Other remedies were the Vishnu mantras, because we were saying about the Dharma being challenged or being a problem, so we can give those mantras Om Namo Bhagavate Ramachandraya and so on. So the Vishnu Avatara mantras based on the planet which is in the Marana Karaka Sthana. So if it's Mars, we can give the Narasimha. If it's Jupiter, it can be related to a Vamana or Trivikram. If it's a Rahu, it can be referring to a Shukaraya or Venkatesha and so on. So we are using this mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Ramachandraya. So this is the model, this is the formula we can use, because this mantras will bring the Dharma again. The Dharma will be reborn in our life, in our chart. And of course, because these planets are dying, we can use the Sanjivani mantra, or the mantras, the Trayambaka mantra, the Mrityunjaya, the Mahamrityunjaya. We can do the Mrityunjaya Bija. So everything that Mrityu, Sanjivani, Vidya realm, all these groups of mantras which are coming from a Shukracharya, from his mother, from a Bhrigu Rishi, all these mantras which are bringing us to life, making us reborn. It's like Rahu. We are reborn in the 11th house. So we have the second birth. We are getting the strength again. We are coming to life again. So these mantras are giving us that Jiva Shakti, this energy of life. So in the first example, we have Juan Mary Brass, and we know that his son was assassinated. And we have a Jupiter in the 3rd house for a Capricorn Lagna. We see that Jupiter, we could say, is an own sign, not bad. Now, why it is especially the sun, we can see that for men, the 5th house would signify the children, will show the children, the students, everyone who is coming after us. The 5th house is the future, but the 5th lord is a Venus, and Venus in own sign is giving results to Jupiter. So now Jupiter is taking the 2 roles. He has the role of Karaka and the Lord, and unfortunately, because it's in the Marana Karaka Sthana, this placement is not conducive for relationship with children or children in general, the karma related to them. And also we can see that the Maraka planets for 5th house will be 6 and 11. So if there are some malefics, then this also can be a signal for us, the impulse to check the Saptamsha and check generally the children in the chart. We have a 4 malefic in the 11th house. So this is a really problematic position for the children. We have also the Henry Giacomet. This person was killed by the spouse, so very bad karma. We see Lagna Lord Venus in the 6th and 7th Lord in the 6th. So the Marana Karaka Sthana is there, and even the exalted Venus couldn't help here. We could ask why it was so. There is also the Parivartana between the Jupiter and Mars, so we see that this Parivartana, when it involves the Dushtana, this is the bad Parivartana, Dainya Parivartana, so this was also not auspicious. This was in fact very bad. This was a catastrophic chart, catastrophic situation, but we can see how the Dainya Parivartana and how the Marana Karaka Sthana is bringing that problem in life. The last chart is of Ted Stevens. We have here the Venus in the 6th house with Mars, and there is a Parivartana with Mercury. So Mercury being the 4th lord. This is showing a very unstable home. He was living with the father, but then the father also got blind, and then the whole family, there were also some siblings and some cousins, they were all sustained by the grandfather. So it was a very unstable situation. Then the person was working in a newspaper and he was sustaining the whole family. So the first stage of life, which is signified by Lagna, or the 4th house, was very problematic. And then when the father got pneumonia, the grandfather got pneumonia, the father got lung cancer. So there was some death energy which was related to childhood. You could see many planets in the 6th house, which was showing these cousins, this extended family, and this Parivartana. Again, we have the Dainya Parivartana of Marana Karaka Sthana. So I wanted to show you, because Sanjay Rath said in a lecture on the Parashara course in the Sutika chapter that if there is a problem of Marana Karaka Sthana, but there is also the Parivartana, and especially with the Dushtana, then the problem is doubled. And if the Karaka of these houses are also in the Dushtana, then the problem is tripled. So this is not taking out of the problem, but it is making it even worse. So I wanted to show you these 2 examples, how the Marana Karaka Sthana with the Parivartana was taking these situations to the extreme. Okay guys, so that's gonna be it from me. I hope you find it interesting and informative. If you do, please click the thumbs up. It helps me with the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already, and see you in the next one.